Picture this. I'm 9 years old. I'm walking down the back alley. The sun is at my back. And I'm wondering where the heck I am. My orientation and mobility instructor told me, just go from the top of the back alley and you should be home soon. Well, soon was 10 minutes ago. And I haven't yet seen my driveway. And I was filled with this overreaching panic and fear. I had no idea where the heck I was. Fast forward 18 years. I'm 26 years old now, and in Littleton, Colorado. I'm trying to get back to my apartment after a day spent at the Colorado Center for the Blind. It's 6 o'clock, it's a Friday evening, the sun's beating down, and I've been wandering around in what seems like a circle for about an hour now. I know I'm close to the entrance of my apartment, but I'm just not getting there. And yeah, I'm not panicking, but I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated. My friends had dinner plans at 6:30, and I didn't know if I would make it in time. You see, since the day a white cane was put in my hand at the age of 3 or 4, I've had this overarching fear of getting lost. The idea that one day I would walk into the middle of the street with this cane. I'd walk down the street, and heck, I might even walk into traffic. Even worse, as a kid, somebody might even snatch me off the street. Now, my 9-year-old self, when I found myself lost, I started to panic, and I started to cry uncontrollably. I knew no other way out. My parents were leaving for Myrtle Beach the next morning, and I thought, if I don't go home, I'm not going to make the plane. Now, luckily, these two benevolent women came by. They came up to me. Donovan, they said, do you know where the heck you are? Back to Colorado. At age 26, I decided to make this journey to Littleton to attend the Colorado Center for the Blind, a training center for blind and visually impaired people from all across North America, which teaches skills such as Braille, computer skills, home management, and of course, cane travel. Now, I was fairly proficient in Braille and a reasonable computer user, but I could easily get lost in the kitchen, and when it came to walking with the white cane, I could probably get lost in the paper bag if both sides were open. Now, attending this center, they had a rather interesting philosophy, and part of it I subscribed to. They said, blindness is not a disability, it's merely a nuisance. Okay, I get that. The one thing I didn't quite agree with was how they treated sighted help. It was almost like there was a dichotomy between us as the blind people and them as the sighted world. I'd been out on travel excursions with fellow students and teachers, and kind sighted people had often offered help and were rebuffed in often a rude manner by fellow students. I remember once even hearing a story of a couple of my blind classmates in a similar situation, getting slightly lost, getting into their apartment, and one saying to the other, where are all these sighted idiots when you need them? And I decided that's not the way I'm going to look at life. If I'm lost, if I'm in a situation where I need support, by gosh, I'm going to ask for help. And on this particular day, in sunny Littleton, I was sick and tired of wandering around, so I did what any normal person would do. I stuck my cane up in the air. Started waving it around violently. This was at a busy intersection. Now finally it did the trick. About 5 minutes later, car slows down, a guy sticks his head out the window and says, hey man, what's up? I say, oh dude, I'm lost, I know exactly where I live, but I think I'm just missing the entrance to my apartment. And he says, oh, well, sure dude, hop in, I'll give you a ride. So I got in the car. And it turned out the guy was not too much older than me. His name was Rex. He was a physical therapist, a native of Littleton, Colorado, and it turned out we shared some interests in common, namely hiking, skiing, and golf. And in the 5 minutes it took for him to drive me to my apartment, we had exchanged phone numbers and decided that, hey, let's get together at some point. Fast forward 2 weeks and Rex and I reconvened. By this time it's a Sunday morning and I had spent a raucous night before at a friend's wedding. I was feeling a little worse for wear. So before we go to the golf course, we decided to go to our favorite Creole restaurant, Lucille's Restaurant. And after tucking into a meal of jambalaya and beignets, with a Bloody Mary, of course, we're thinking of going to the golf course, but Rex says, hey man, let's go to the tavern. There's another bar. So away we go, we drive to the tavern, have another couple of Bloody Marys. By this time we're talking like we're old friends, and Rex is regaling me of his stories of being a deadhead and touring with the Grateful Dead back in the day. By this time it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Rex turns to me and says, you know what? Let's go to the strip club. So an hour later, I find myself in one of Denver's many dens of iniquity known as Shotgun Willie's. Rex and I spend an entertaining afternoon there, and I won't go into the story. People sometimes wonder why a blind person would go to the strip in the first place. It's almost like going to a buffet and only being able to smell the food. But nevertheless, we had quite an entertaining time together. Now 2 weeks later, I was hanging out in my friend's apartment, and her father was visiting from Missouri, and I had told him a few stories, and he turned to her and he said, Sarah, that Donovan, you wouldn't be scared of the devil himself. And I said, you know what, Mr. Olson, I think I met the devil, actually, on the corner of West Mineral and Littleton Boulevard. His name happened to be Rex. And you know, it just goes to show, I'm still friends with that sighted idiot. Just goes to show that when I get lost, anything can happen. And I could have just wandered around in a circle, may have eventually found my apartment, may have missed the dinner, may have made it. But if I hadn't reached out, waved my cane in the air, I wouldn't have made a valuable friend along the way and had a fun adventure. As for my 9-year-old self, know where the heck you were, Donovan? I was only 2 blocks away from home. So close, but yet so far. Thank you very much.